The month of June is considered Cancer Survivors Month, and so at Beth Yeshurun it's become our tradition that on the first Shabbat of June we celebrate cancer survivors with a special speaker. Beth Yeshurun has been a member of an organization, an interfaith organization in Houston called CanCare, which provides support to cancer patients during their treatment, trains cancer survivors to provide that support, and also supports the families of patients who are going through treatment. We have two of our members, Leah Katz and Michael Wiesenthal, who are here today. We're both outstanding members and volunteers at CanCare. And we've arranged to have a special speaker today, Dr. Keith Saathoff. I heard him speak at a CanCare luncheon just about a month ago. He is a 19-year stage 4 lymphoma survivor. He's also a veterinarian and a devoted husband and father and a former CanCare client. He has a really profound story to tell us this evening about the connections he made during his cancer treatment, including meeting his wife, Cheryl, who is also here this evening. And as a former CanCare client, he reflects on the impact of the relationships he developed and how they helped with his healing process. So let us all give a Beth Yeshurun welcome to Dr. Keith Saathoff.
First, I'd like to thank Congregation Beth Yeshurun, Michael Wiesenthal, and Rabbi Morgan for inviting me to share my story as a cancer survivor and my experience with the CanCare organization and what it means to me. I'd also like to personally thank Rabbi Morgan for his years of service to CanCare and for his support of this organization. I had to chuckle a little bit when they invited me to come share my story when Michael and Darcy Wells, who's the CEO of CanCare, called me. They indicated to me that a lot of people here may already know Michael's story, and so that it would probably be appreciated if someone else would tell a new story so Michael wouldn't have to tell his again. To begin my story, I need to take you back a couple of decades. The year was 2004. It was coming to a close, and I'm a planner. I had a new desk pad on my calendar, a new desk pad calendar on my desk, and my veterinary business had closed out the year and was in the black. But I knew something was wrong. I was so tired, but I attributed it to running a business, being a dad to two small boys, 6 and 8, and turning 45 years old. On New Year's Day, I was feeling so bad that I took myself to an emergency room to be evaluated. I had some tests done. I did a CAT scan of my head and nothing was found. I asked the doctor to scan my abdomen as well because I was feeling like there just wasn't something right there too. He agreed to order the scan and discharged me from the hospital immediately after, saying that he didn't really expect to find anything. Before I left the hospital, my phone rang. It was the doctor, and he asked where I was. I informed him that I was still in the hospital in the hallway getting ready to leave, when he said, "Don't leave, you have cancer." The world stopped. The words hit me like a gut punch. I dropped to my knees right there in the hallway, unable to believe what I just heard. My life as I knew it was over. I wasn't just a husband, a father, or a veterinarian anymore. I was now a cancer patient. Within hours, my parents were by my side. I started treatment immediately, and support in the form of calls, letters, and meals began pouring in. When I returned home after being hospitalized for my first treatment, I met our mail delivery person at my mailbox. I wasn't yet showing the outward effects of chemotherapy at this time, and she said, "May I ask you a question?" I replied, "Sure." And she asked if someone had died at this address, because she'd never delivered so many cards without there being a death involved. The outpouring of love for me was incredible, and these gestures of support are meaningful and wonderful. I still remember some of these individual cards and letters today, 20 years later. Yet, despite the support, on the inside, I felt utterly alone in my struggle. I needed to talk to someone who understood what I was going through. And that's when I contacted CanCare, and I met Leonard. He got me. He was calm. He was steady. He was someone who'd been there and understood what it felt like through his own cancer diagnosis to have your world torn apart. One of the first things he told me was, Keith, cancer's like a marathon, not a sprint. Let's take it one day at a time. For the first time since I heard my diagnosis, Leonard gave me a glimmer of hope when I needed it the most, and that hope carried me through some of the darkest days of my life. I remember a particularly hard day when I had a water leak at my house and I went to Home Depot to obtain the parts to fix it. I was tired physically and emotionally from the cancer treatments, and I became overwhelmed while I was at the store trying to get someone to help me find the parts. I ended up crumpled in a heap by the shopping cart storage area and in tears. I truly felt like I did not want to go on any longer. And my phone rang. It was Leonard. Once again, he was able to encourage me to take it one day, 1 hour, or even 1 minute at a time. Another time, I was at a high school football game. People all around me were cheering and enjoying the evening, and I felt disassociated from the event. How could life and joy and cheering be going on all around me when I felt so alone? Was I the only one there struggling with cancer? How can life go on as normal when all around me nothing seemed normal anymore in my own life? I stepped behind the bleachers to gather my thoughts, and my phone rang. Leonard, again. Leonard was able to validate my feelings as normal and to encourage me to value each event and each day that would bring me one step closer to reclaiming my life. Leonard would occasionally share parts of his own story as a cancer patient, and when I shared with him that my marriage was imploding and not likely to survive this, he knew from personal experience what that felt like too. Eventually, I got through the treatments and to a point of remission, and I resumed my life in veterinary practice. There were still days as the years went by where it felt difficult to rejoin life. Cancer changes you forever. Initially, I found it hard to even drive past a medical center without feeling anxious. My CanCare volunteer, Leonard, has stayed with me through the decades, through every setback, complications, hospital stays, late-night fears, and yes, some joys. He's been there, just a call away. He reminds me to hold on to hope and to trust that I can endure. He has become an anchor in my life. I would never have called cancer a gift when I was first diagnosed, but life surprises you. As Rabbi Morgan alluded to, during a particularly painful bone marrow biopsy, a nurse asked me if I wanted her to hold my hand. I said yes. That nurse, Cheryl, became so much more to me. Today, Cheryl is my wife, and she's filled my life with a joy and love I could never have imagined. She sometimes tells me that she's my medicine, and her love and support truly is a medicine like no other. As I approach 20 years of survival, I began to feel the pull to become a CanCare volunteer myself. I want to pay forward the gift that was given to me and to be the Leonard or the Michael Wiesenthal in someone else's life. I believe wholeheartedly in the CanCare mission that no one walks through their cancer journey alone. I'd like to close with a 3-point appeal. First, if you or someone you love needs support, we are here. Second, if you or someone you love has been personally affected by cancer, we would love for you to consider becoming a volunteer. The need for volunteers is surpassed by the number of people requesting support. There are multiple ways to get involved with CanCare, and CanCare will provide the necessary training to give you the tools to get started. And lastly, if our mission and the story I shared touches your heart, we would welcome your financial support. There's recently been a book that was published called Hope in the Face of Cancer. It's available on Amazon. It's available through CanCare's website, cancare.org. It's filled with stories of survivors, of caregivers that have shared their struggle as they cared for people with cancer. It's a great gift to give to somebody that's struggling with cancer. It's recently been published. We don't have any copies here yet, but you can find it. Please come up to Michael or me afterwards if you're interested in serving in any of these ways, and we'll point you in the right direction. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to Congregation Beth Yeshurun and to Rabbi Morgan for letting me share my story and for supporting this mission. Your generosity touches lives in ways you may never see, but I can assure you it changes everything for those of us, like me, who have been on the receiving end. Thank you so much.